So, we haven't spoken yet today, have we? It's about 1:30 in the morning. I was up around 7 o'clock at night. I didn't get much else done yesterday, though I did try to. Got a little bit done this afternoon. Just getting something to eat. I'll get back to work afterwards. Wanted to have a little talk here about something that they're talking about in the briefing. Obviously, I've got my my browser working again here. I think I concluded that the issue was actually not local. I really didn't do a lot of. I really didn't do anything. I mean, I had to stick with the newer version of Firefox. Didn't really have a choice there. I did upgrade Flash. I don't think I needed to. I think that the actual truth is that the errors that I was having were more on the server side, and may have had to do with decisions onto which videos I was and was not permitted to view, unfortunately, because there does not actually seem to be. While the errors were consistent, they were not general, and so there doesn't seem to be a technological reason why I had difficulty accessing certain videos. Anyways, let's talk about Kobani here. So this is late 2014. I don't have many of these left. What's the date on this? It's like there. October 7th. Okay, that's I guess I have more more than I realized. Either way, it's 2014, so it's about halfway through it. I guess I've watched, what was it, all July, all August, all September, October, November, December. That's actually nowhere near as far into it as I thought. Anyways, they're talking about the fall of the city Kobani, which is in the Kurdish administered area of northern Iraq. And the journalists seem to not quite understand why it is that the United States allowed Kobani to fall. Now, this is there's of course the underlying assumption that the United States could have prevented the fall of Kobani if they chose to, which kind of throws the whole premise of a difficult war into jeopardy, does it not? If we believe that the Americans could prevent this city from falling or that city from falling or stop this or that, then it kind of exposes the whole thing as a lie, doesn't it? But it's quite clear. I would invite anyone to watch this. Like I say, it's a daily press briefing, October 7th, 2016. I'd invite anyone to watch it, and I think it's about as clear as it can be that pretty much everyone in the room believes that if they wanted to, the Americans could have prevented the invasion of that city. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out why the Americans allowed that to happen. No, they're using couched language, of course, but it's tone of voice, body language. This is how the press briefings operate. If you watch them long enough, you can see. In fact, I don't think you just have to watch them very long to realize. But that's what's going on in this room here. And the line that they seem to all want to settle upon is the idea that it's collateral damage, which doesn't even. What it demonstrates is a fundamental misunderstanding of the term collateral damage. Collateral damage, of course, being accidental destruction. The fall of a city be accidental destruction. The spokesperson here is bound by law to be technically correct, meaning she can lie in spirit, but not in not the technical definition of the term, which may not prevent all of the spokespeople from lying, but I think this one seems to be careful enough. At the very least, I don't think I've ever seen a situation where I've felt a need to say, okay, you're lying. And I've watched a lot of these. Haven't seen it. And, I mean, there's certainly been a lot of situations where she may have decided to omit information or frame things in a certain way, or distract from this or whatever, right? But when it comes to technical matters of truth or falsity, I think that she's usually pretty good about it. To the extent that she's aware, right? If they give her a piece of paper and she's reading something off of it, she doesn't know if it's true or not, then she's not lying, right? And she's being very careful to say, no, this is not collateral damage. And I think that even if we ignore the misuse of the term collateral damage, and we try to get more of a broad scope understanding of what they're trying to say, which is that this is something that they're going to allow to happen as a sacrifice, or of minimal importance. I still get the impression that she's trying to reject that. What she actually seems to be saying, in nearly as many terms, because she is talking about strategic objectives, is that, and she is talking about tactics and strategies fairly openly, is that the United States intended for the city to fall for strategic tactical reasons. So what she seems to be saying here, and there's not a journalist in the room that would actually say this, unless there's a journalist in the room that I'm not familiar with. Even the RT guys wouldn't. The RT people seem to want to. I think his name is Elliot. He's actually one of the more interesting journalists here, because he seems to know that, okay, you've got Russian propaganda, and then you've got American propaganda, and it's bullshit on either side. And the often the impression you get from this guy is that he knows she's full of shit, and he knows that she knows that he knows that she's full of shit, and there's just no pretension. It's like and he knows that the answers that he's going to get are going to be maybe technically truthful but distorted, and he knows better, and she knows better than to think that he's going to believe it, and they both know better than to think that anything of value is going to get onto the Russian news channel, and it's just this kind of silly exchange, and they all kind of recognize that they're just kind of going through the motions, and ultimately the information exchange will occur at a higher level of government anyways. But nobody in this room would dare suggest that what she's actually saying is that the United States got out of the way in order to allow ISIS to enter Kobani. But that is essentially what she's saying, very clearly, and with very minimal ambiguity, and in a way that she intends the journalist to understand. Um, it's not like she's dancing around it or skirting around it. She wants the journalist to understand that the reason Kobani fell to ISIS is because that's actually what the U.S. military wanted to happen in the city at that particular point of time. And why is that? Like, maybe we should I'm going to avoid being deductive on this, actually. Um, I think it's obvious. I think if you're paying attention, you should know why it's obvious. Um, but there's not direct evidence here. This is deductive, so I'm gonna back off on that. But I invite you to watch it and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. It is 10:30 in the morning, and I've got this on aside right up finished. That is so key. That takes me to the not quite exactly the end of September, but near it. The next bunch of stuff is the Rapid as Wolf stuff. And it's a lot faster. As I pointed out before, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's going to be a total decrease in volume, but at least it'll feel faster. So I think that got me over a big hump there. I got over a big hump yesterday. I'm finally being more productive, so this is good. Right now I'm going to stop. I don't know if I'm passing out for the night or not. But I feel I need to kind of just I may end up getting something to eat. That might be the solution. But right now I just kind of want to just not stare at a screen, Whether that means I fall asleep or I get up and get something to eat, we'll find out. Are we done for the day? It would be not quite a cycle, but I think we might be. We'll find out.